yeah, that's how it looks like. So government team always sits on the left of the judge, and opposition team always sits to the right of the adjudicator. All right, roughly speaker roles. So the Prime Minister is expected to open the debate. What that means is the Prime Minister is supposed to set the context, explain why you're here, explain the important pieces of information that sets the context of the debate, which is why are we debating this, why is this important, why must we do the things that we are about to do. Sets the definition, which is very important. You need to define key terms of the debate so that the debate can happen in a fair, constructive way. Explain the model. What that means is 1, 2, 3, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it? Provide the team stance and develop arguments of your own. So sometimes we see prime ministers just coming out and giving just the model and just the problem, but they're not advancing their own arguments, which is a terrible loss because the prime minister is supposed to do all of that. Otherwise, if the prime minister doesn't give any arguments, then the only thing we're left with after the prime minister's speech is just the problem and the model, without necessarily the explanation why that model is needed or why that model will be effective. So the bottom line for the prime minister's speech is you need to be able to give arguments as well, because that's the first chance for the team to advance arguments that are important to your team. So just a few words on definition. So motions are generally clear, but they're also open to interpretations. And that's why definitions or defining the motion is very important. So when you define motions, the definitions you give should be clear, it should be concise, they should be meaningful, and they should provide clear logical links to what the motion is asking you to do. So what do I mean by that? So here are some examples of what we mean by bad definitions, or things you should avoid doing when defining a motion. So the first thing that the opposition team can do is, if the government team defines a motion in a wholly unreasonable or unrealistic manner, the opposition team can challenge that definition so that the real debate can occur. So, for example, if there is a motion about banning international adoption, and the government team defines that as the adoption of dogs across different countries, like clearly that's not what the debate is about, and so the opposition team can challenge that and say, you're not really debating the motion which is being asked of you to debate, and we should be debating instead about the adoption of human babies as opposed to animal counterparts, right? So you can make those challenges so that the debate can be more constructive in that way.